Welcome here to Simming to 2035, and in today's video we are going to be going all the way to the 2035 NHL season to see how the NHL will look. And here is a quick recap of everything that's happened. If you didn't watch the last episode, make sure you guys like and subscribe. We are almost at 300. Y'all know we want to get there, so make sure you guys like and subscribe. And here is all the awards. If you guys were interested, pause at any point you want, let me know what other videos you want, and you know what, let's get straight into this video. Okay, so here's the draft lottery. The Montreal Canadiens have won the 2030 NHL draft, draft lottery, and we start with Evgeny Malkin retiring, Patrick Kane, one of the greatest American players, retiring, Anze Kopitar, the greatest Slovenian player, retiring, and some of our favorite childhood heroes, Marc-Andre Fleury, retiring as well with 578 wins. And the first overall pick going to the Canadiens is Bennett Sloan. They suck still in the year 2030. This just proves that nothing is a guarantee. Nothing is a guarantee in this world, and it is definitely not a guarantee that the Montreal Canadiens are going to be good in real life, even though we project it. And here is your top 10 in this draft. Pretty weak compared to other years, but I mean, still some really good talents in here. Next up, we got free agency. Miro Heiskanen is available. Matvei Michkov is available as well, but he ain't getting signed. We have the two main free agents, Heiskanen and Svechnikov. Let's see where they sign. So, looks like they're off the board. Matvei Michkov still has not signed, which is interesting. Thomas Schmidt as well, the 5th overall pick in 2026. James Hagens is a free agent. Frondell, Victor Eklund. So a lot of the 2025 draft due for some big extensions. Next up, we got the free agency that have been signed, and no one has signed that hard as Andrei Svechnikov. He signs for 14. Miro Heiskanen, never mind. Heiskanen just signed for $19.29 million, which is insane, over 7 years. That's like a solid, like $133 million, a little bit more, $134. But here, Svechnikov is teaming up with Nathan MacKinnon. That is very interesting. Cale Makar, Svechnikov. The next, Mikko Rantanen, and Miro Heiskanen has a 93 overall franchise defenseman drafted 24th overall in the draft. That is absolutely diabolical. They also still have Sidney Crosby. This is one of the best teams. Don't be surprised if this team is looking nasty. They also have Bryce Sheldon, Liam Pugh, some of the top prospects in this universe. Nolan Fitzhenry. These guys are cooking. Chris Knobloch left the Oilers, signs with the Blue Jackets, and he gets fired from the Blue Jackets, where in real life, he's 2 for 2 on bringing cups. And speaking of the Oilers fired John Hines. I guess he left Minnesota, but here we are at the trade deadline. Fedor Svechkov gets traded. In the game, there's not too many big trades, but Philip Gustafson gets traded to the New Jersey Devils, which is very interesting. And the Dallas Stars look like they win the Western Conference again. They are slowly turning into a juggernaut in this simulation, a regular season juggernaut. They still haven't won a cup, but we'll see if that changes. And here is your Eastern Conference standings, and let's go. Florida missed the playoffs. You love to see it. Jake Ottinger is again the #1 winning goalie in the league. He only has one Vezina, but look at this. 48, 47, 45, 45, 43. Absolute stud. Rookie skaters. Tyler Stewart, 62 points. Another franchise player. Look at all the talent in the NHL. 62 points. Franz there. Shout out Franz. Liam Pugh as well. Cale Makar leads all defensemen in scoring. Thomas Harley there with 70 points. And for all forwards, Austin Matthews has 136 points here in his prime. 78 goals. Mitch Marner did re-sign with Toronto as well, which is very interesting. Shout out Wyatt Johnston, 121 points. Now, here we are in the playoffs, and one team I want to take a look at is these Dallas Stars, because they've been a regular season juggernaut. They have Johnston, Robertson, and Rantanen, maybe the best line in hockey at this point in the NHL. They have Thomas Harley on defense. Obviously, they just lost Heiskanen to Pittsburgh, and they have one of the best goalies in the league. So I think this team can make a deep run. It's only a matter of time, just like in real life, you know what I'm saying? maybe they need to change their coach, but it's not looking like this year. It's going to be Nathan MacKinnon versus Connor McDavid in the finals. We took a look at the Avalanche at the start of the year, and I mean, they have a really good team, but, Nathan MacKinnon is playing at an all-time level, but of course the Detroit Red Wings signed Connor McDavid in the last video. Also, Seattle signed Jack Eichel, something to keep in mind. But, that line of Casper, McDavid, Raymond, DeBrincat, Larkin, Sandin Pellikka, this power play has to be clicking at an all-time rate, and they have Trey Augustine, who is nasty, but the Colorado Avalanche take them down. Nathan MacKinnon has won his second Stanley Cup, maybe his third. I honestly forget if they won one in the first video. But viewing retired players here, Sidney Crosby has finally retired at the age of 42. Look at that resume, 3 cups, 3 hearts. This kid is nasty. Maybe one of the 2, 3 greatest players of all time at this point. Second in the league history in scoring. I think he would probably rank second all time after this. He probably ranks second for a lot of people. And Nikita Kucherov as well, silently retiring early, but still, not early, but like now with the modern medicine and all that stuff, players can superstar players can play until they're 42 like Crosby. The Colorado Avalanche have won the cup, obviously. The Dallas Stars, 4th straight President's Trophy. Austin Matthews wins his 2nd straight. Art Ross, and his first Hart in a long time. So, shout out Austin Matthews. Nathan MacKinnon wins his first Conn Smythe. So, that is crazy, bro. Nathan MacKinnon didn't win the Conn Smythe. Makar deserves it just as much, but still. Now we got the NHL draft here in 2031, and the first overall pick is a franchise player, Manuel Banak, out of Germany. He plays in the SHL, but I'm pretty sure he was German, on his player card. Nightingale, there goes 2. Denisov goes 3. So it looks like a lot of elite players here at the top of this draft. It starts to fall off a little bit. Damn, this draft class is even worse than the last one. That is unfortunate for all these tanking teams. But the Edmonton Oilers snipe an 81 overall offensive defenseman at pick 8. I'm pretty sure Bouchard was pick 8. But if we take a look at the Penguins' all-time records, this just confirms that Sidney Crosby, he played a lot longer than Mario Lemieux. But, Sidney Crosby, there's no debate. There's a debate between the players, but there's no debate that this is the greatest era in Penguins hockey, even if Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr don that jersey. Okay, here's free agency. Jack Hughes, Matthew Tkachuk, Magnus Paajarvi, 3 franchise players, all of Stead there as well. Matthias Paajarvi, my bad. But, this kid hasn't done too much, but he's a 93 overall. He looks like a great defensive player in my opinion, but it's kind of hard to tell. All of Stead, he hasn't done much either, but he plays on the Blue Jackets. So, not going to take anything away from him. Jack Hughes is available. He's silently put up 500-point seasons in a row. And Matty Tkachuk as well. Just an absolute beast. A guy you want in the playoffs. And people really are looking for that for some reason in real life. I understand why, but, people are passing on Mitch Marner for Sam Bennett. You guys don't know hockey. Mitch Marner's so much better than Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett just plays on a good team, but Sam Bennett's also really good. I would love Sam Bennett on any team, but I'm just saying there's levels to this. Even if you suck at the playoffs, doesn't mean you could be playing with players who don't work well with you in the playoffs. You could be players who don't complement your skill set. If you're starting a team right now, you're taking Sam Bennett over Mitch Marner, but that's besides the point. You're taking Mitch Marner over Sam Bennett. Jack Hughes signs with Calgary. Matthew Tkachuk signs with the Rangers. Of course, Matthew Tkachuk goes to the biggest market. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be the next Mark Messier. You're not him, buddy. You're not him. You're a better person than Mark Messier. Come on now. But Mackenzie Weegar there. Calgary Flames looking nasty. They have Zane Parekh on their 3rd pair, which is absolutely devious. I don't know who the coach there is. It's still Ryan Huska. You're a dumbass. Put Zane Parekh on that top pair. And Dustin Wolf. He hasn't been the greatest, I'd say, but I mean, the New York Rangers also with Matthew Tkachuk, they probably are better suited for the playoffs, you know what I'm saying? They have Tkachuk, Gabe Perreault, Lafreniere. They have Brisson as their first-line center, but honestly, he's probably playing better than Mika Zibanejad played this year. They have a lot of depth on the left wing, so just put Adam Fox on the ice and cross-ice past that shit to the left wing. I can't even lie. That's the only chance you got to win a cup, you know what I'm saying? But okay, so Olofsted has signed a $3 million contract. What is going on right now? Why is this dude taking such a pay cut for no reason at all? Okay, here we are at the trade deadline again. You know, not many big trades in NHL 25, like the Rantanen trade. I don't think we're ever going to see that level of a trade, but Joakim Kemlo is a pretty big trade. Zachary Leroux, looks like the Predators are just getting rid of all their prospects in real life, but the Seattle Kraken have dethroned the Dallas Stars, winning the Western Conference. Maybe the President's Trophy curse is real, and maybe Dallas will finally make a run for that cup. But the New Jersey Devils have won the actual President's Trophy with Philip Gustafsson, so that's pretty sick. He has 49 wins. Ottinger's still up there. Samuel Ersson has 43 wins. What is going on in the world right now? Joshua Ravensbergen has quietly developed into one of the top goalies in the league. They have Aiden Bouchard making his debut. That's pretty sick. This dude's going to win the Calder as a defenseman. Tispath Arana looks like 93 points for that Miro Heiskanen partner. Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes up there, Zeev Boyum. Damn, there's a lot of good defensemen nowadays. I saw Matthew Schaefer there as well, but what the? Wyatt Johnston leads the entire league in scoring. I mean, he's also carried by that line at the same time. I guess he's a nasty, player. Yeah, and we take a look at the New Jersey Devils here. They have Bratton Heischer, they have Philip Forsberg. They have a lot of good defensive two-way forwards. They're a very, very deep team. That's one thing I will say. I didn't see 170 overall in their entire lineup. So Seattle Kraken here, how do they look? They have Eichel and Beniers down the middle. That is a pretty sick 1-2 punch. I can't even lie. Jack Eichel, has he been better than McDavid? Only time will tell, but I mean, this is a very deep team as well. They have a lot more star power than the New Jersey Devils, in my personal opinion. So they might honestly be better, but here, let's check out the playoff tree. And we have Colorado and Minnesota, a couple of good matchups. Tampa, Toronto, feel bad for you. It's going to be an exciting playoff run here. But first round of the playoffs, looks like the only upsets is Columbus winning, Edmonton won, if you call that an upset. I mean, I guess they don't have McDavid anymore, so I guess that would be considered that. But looks like the New Jersey Devils have fallen to the Columbus Blue Jackets, and we have a Final Four between Seattle, Dallas, Detroit, and Columbus. Let's take a look at their stats here. Check out all these teams. We know Dallas, we know Seattle, but Columbus, they have the same team, just draft and develop. They're a younger team in real life. Just keep sticking with their core, and then obviously getting a franchise player and Quinn Hughes in free agency definitely helps. They have Kochenkov as well. It's probably better than Merzlikins, but it doesn't even matter, as the Seattle Kraken and the Detroit Red Wings are going to be meeting up in the finals. Let's take a look at these teams here. Let's check out, we know these teams fairly well. They've been in a lot of finals. McDavid and Eichel, round number 2. I forget who won last time. I'm pretty sure it was Jack Eichel. Connor McDavid's looking for revenge. They got Alex Laferriere at the trade deadline. Laferriere, I mean, they have a really good blue line. They did lose Simon Edvinsson, unfortunately, but this team is nasty, but it doesn't even matter. The Seattle Kraken are going to win a cup. Jack Eichel has his second cup, his third cup personally, but his second cup as a Kraken, and Mark Scheifele is going to retire as probably the greatest Winnipeg Jet to ever play. Maybe Kyle Connor is going to pass him. Philip Forsberg retires as well. Elias Lindholm retires. Zach Hyman retires after winning a Hart Trophy. If you don't remember in the last video, that was absolutely diabolical. And if we check out goalies, Sergei Bobrovsky goes down as one of the greatest tendies to ever walk the earth. And the Seattle Kraken obviously won the cup. The Devils dethroned the Stars for the President's Trophy curse. No wonder they lost. But the Dallas Stars, man, you're that good of a team in the regular season. How have you not got it done once? And oh my goodness, Wyatt Johnston is a Hart Trophy winner. What is going on with the world right now? And Shane Wright revives his career, and he wins a Conn Smythe. What a storyline. Pie-RV, I told you guys, this guy's good defensively. And the Buffalo Sabres, speaking of Pie-RV having the number 1 pick, they get a power forward center, Ali Genoa, first overall pick, out of some Canadian league. That's pretty sick. Martikin goes 2, Vorbayev goes 3. So it looks like, not to be racist, but the Capitals are drafting many Russians here. And, it's not as stacked as last year free agency, but still we have Cal Olofsted, we have Brandt Clark, we have Matthew Tkachuk, obviously. Brandt Clark is a 92 overall. There's Bratt. There's Cole Caulfield. There's a lot of RFAs. They're not going anywhere. But there's Jordan Kyrou, Robert Thomas. The Blues could absolutely implode. There's a lot of depth in this free agency. There's a lot of 90 overalls in the league. And let's check out where they all signed. So Matthew Tkachuk first up has signed with the Washington Capitals, replacing Alex Ovechkin. He wants to stay on that East Coast. Brandt Clark goes to Nashville, where there's no tax. Of course he does. Jesper Bratt goes to Montreal. He replaces Caulfield, who joins Connor Bedard. And Robert Thomas teams up with Matthew Tkachuk, and Jordan Kyrou goes to Philly. So that's very interesting. Let's take a look at some of these teams here. A lot of moving parts in the NHL. Cole Caulfield teams up with Bedard and Stenberg. That could be a nasty line in a couple of years. Next up, we're going to take a look at the Montreal Canadiens. They have Jesper Bratt. They have Ivan Demidov, who hasn't really done anything, but it's okay. The next up, the Nashville Predators, the no-tax Predators, and Brandt Clark is the only player on that blue line, so that's unfortunate for him. Then we take a look at the Flyers here. Jordan Kyrou is going to play down the middle. They have a very deep center core with him, Reed Nickel, and Roger McQueen as well. And then Matthew Tkachuk here joins Robert Thomas in Washington. And, this team definitely could win a cup. Their blue line sucks, but they definitely could win. And their goaltending sucks, so, not ideal. The St. Louis Blues as well, they are looking absolutely cooked. But I think they are going into this futuristic view, which is unfortunate because they tried to do that and then they got 1.6 second on. Get wrecked, buddy, I can't swear, there's no point. And they have Stuart Skinner in that, so they're cooked. Cal Olofsted is available. Will Smith is also available. Jake Sanderson, what a stacked trade deadline. Lafreniere, Sam Reinhart, even Jack Ivankovic is there. Let's see if any of them got traded. I don't think so. Morgan Frost, there's nothing. Teuvo Teravainen's a pretty big name, but really disappointing trade deadline. Oh, wait, no. Jack Ivankovic for Matthew Wood. That is insane. What the hell? I was calling it a boring trade deadline. Matthew Wood now teams up here on Chicago. They get a second line left winger. Now they are even more deep. They are poising themselves for a cup run. And the Nashville Predators, we looked at them earlier. They needed a goalie. They really needed a goalie. UC Saros is getting old. Jack Ivankovic can come in and fill that void here in Nashville. And the Dallas Stars have won, I presume, another President's Trophy. 125 points is going to be hard to beat. Hopefully they don't get absolutely cooked in the playoffs again. Yeah, they absolutely destroyed everybody. A 20 points President's Trophy smashing compared to the Eastern Conference. And Jake Ottinger, 51 wins. I think the record's 50, so maybe he broke it. Somebody's got to let me know on that one. But Dmitry Burmistrov is your Rookie of the Year. He was the 5th overall pick. I was calling him trash. Doesn't matter. He's nasty. Thomas Harley, you gotta be the best defenseman on that good of a team. 82 points. He's the only defenseman on that team who could put up any points. So respect to Thomas Harley. And then, oh my goodness, Wyatt Johnston, another Art Ross trophy. This dude is just stat padding, bro. He's getting all the empty netters. You already know. That's the only reason he has more points. And prime Connor Bedard is here. 76 goals. Looking like Timu out there. Looking like Timu Solani. And the Dallas Stars are here in the playoffs. The favorites. Looking like predicted by EA Sports. But, it's a really nice playoff bracket here. So let's see. And we are halfway through the playoffs. And the Dallas Stars are still in. So maybe this is the year, Dallas. Come on, Dallas. Let's go. I'm rooting for you guys. I'm also obviously rooting for Toronto because, Canada But, I mean, I don't really care if the Leafs win. Let's be real. Who gives two shits if the Leafs win? But it would be nice for Austin Matthews. He is playing well. Man, let's check out the Stanley Cup Finals. We have the Seattle Kraken against the New Jersey Devils, and it is a 1-1 series. Let's check out both of these teams. So, the Seattle Kraken, they obviously signed Jack Eichel in free agency. I mean, that's a big pickup, and they drafted Tyler Stewart there. I mean, this team's pretty nasty. I can't even lie. This team's pretty good. Matty Beniers is a 90. They have Danielson, is also a 90. They have Josh Ravensbergen in net. And then the Devils, I mean, they have Philip Gustafson. They have, I mean, this is basically like just a mid-ass team. I can't even lie. They're a good team, though, but the Seattle Kraken are way too much, and they are going to win this Stanley Cup. The New York Rangers getting the number 1 pick. What do you know? The NHL is still rigged after all these years. But if we check the retiring players, Nathan MacKinnon, this is a massive retirement, as Nathan MacKinnon finishes with 1,744 points. He retires relatively early, but what a resume that is. One of the greatest players to ever play the game. We have Panarin, though. We have Duchesne. There's a lot of talent in this retirement class, and I mean, it's pretty sad to see all these players retire, but this is how the NHL is going to look in the year 2035, and Connor Hellebuck retires from the NHL, one of the greatest goalies of all time, but was never able to get it done in the playoffs. Made the finals one year, still couldn't get it done. The Vegas goal, I mean, let's check out these, Connor Hellebuck. His advanced stats, or like his all-time stats, are pretty sick. Nathan MacKinnon as well beats out Joe Sakic for points, has the most goals. And I mean, if we look at the all-time goal scorers, Wayne Gretzky passed, but Ovechkin passed Gretzky, but people might pass Ovechkin. And for wins, Connor Hellebuck is not there, unfortunately. Okay, so the Seattle Kraken have won the Stanley Cup back-to-back years. That is incredible. The Dallas Stars have won 4 out of the last 5 President's Trophies. And it's not Detroit in the finals this year, but so far you can see McDavid and Eichel are dominating the playoffs, but the Dallas Stars are dominating the regular season, and Wyatt Johnston has become a 2-time Hart winner, and Ravensbergen has become a Vezina winner, which is pretty sick to see. Now, here, heading into the draft here, the world keeps on moving. That's how the world works, and Becker is the first pick here in this draft. Carl Becker, a left-wing two-way forward, 82 overall. That is a pretty good pick. And here's the first 5 picks. It's decent, you know what I'm saying? It's not great. There's no franchise player, but it's not bad at all. So the only thing is, speaking of franchise players, Olofsted is on the block. He signed a 1-year extension in the last offseason, but this offseason, for some reason, he's just, I don't even know what's going on with him, but we have to see how that unfolds. Looks like the Vegas Golden Knights are going after Mintyukov, but here in the 2032 free agency, we have Elias Pettersson, we have Mitchell Marner. I never knew they gave him the full Mitchell Marner tag, in the game. I always thought it was just Mitch in the game. But, I mean, that makes sense. Mintyukov, Will Smith is a free agent. Look how time has flown. Seth Jarvis, Tommy Laxonen, Dylan Strome, Jake Sanderson, Sebastian Aho. There's a lot of incredible talent here in free agency. Look at the amount of 90 overalls in the league. Now, you guys might think that's a little bit too OD, but, I mean, it makes sense because the thing is that there's going to be so many 90 overalls in the league in the future, but Pettersson has gone to the Senators, Marner to the Sabres, Will Smith to the Oilers, Seth Jarvis to the Colorado Avalanche, Sebastian Aho and Dylan Strome team up in Vancouver. There's a lot of moving pieces. Jake Sanderson goes to the Devils, and there's a lot of things to look at here and be excited about. So Anton Frondel and teams up with Matthias Pajärvi and Mitch Marner. I mean, that is an incredible first line. That first line is going to put up 1,000,000 points. I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo turns their fortunes around. If we look at the Ottawa Senators here, they obviously got Gavin McKenna in 2026, and they're going to be, teaming him up with Elias Pettersson, which I think will be absolutely nasty, and it would be so sick. And then, Marty Necas on the other side. They have Stützle, Kachuk. There's a deep-ass team. They're good from top to bottom. I can see this team winning a cup. And then, we got the Vancouver Canucks getting a 1 and 2 center. That could be very useful come playoff time. Two guys who play hard, play the game the right way. Two incredible passers. It's going to be interesting to see how the Vancouver Canucks do. And then last but not least, the Edmonton Oilers. They're looking pretty good. Will Smith is on the outside. Leon Draisaitl's there as well. He is slowly creeping up on that goal record. They have two incredible offensive defensemen, Landon DuPont and Evan Bouchard. That might be the best D pair on the power play. And then the Vegas Golden Knights. I haven't been really controlling this team, paying attention, but signed Pavel Mintyukov for $15.6, and then signed Zach Benson to a 1-year deal at $13.8. So the world moves on. Jim Montgomery has been fired by the Philadelphia Flyers, and it's an interesting trade deadline. Peter Kochenkov gets traded. JJ Moser, but nothing crazy. And there's another firing. Martin St. Louis has been fired by the Montreal Canadiens, who have done nothing so far in 7 years. Okay, so here we are, the standings at the end of the season. The Minnesota Wild have won the Western Conference with Laxinen, and the Vegas Golden Knights are last. It is a beautiful day. Connor McDavid and the Red Wings have won the Eastern Conference and the President's Trophy, taking it away from the Dallas Stars. And the Canadiens suck again, which is crazy. Philip Gustafson has the most wins in the league. If we look at rookie skaters, we're not going to know any rookies in the year 2033. Ruslan wins it. And then there's a guy on Pittsburgh, Tis Patharana. What a season. Hopefully I pronounced that last name right. He's signed at 9.8. He is getting a big boy extension, that's for sure. Kamakar, Zeev Boyum, what a season, plus 38, 84 points. This kid's a stud. Jason Robertson leads the entire league in scoring, so that's the third straight year where the Art Ross Trophy is headed to Dallas, even if they did not take home the Presidents this time. And Connor Bedard had 64 goals, but it doesn't matter because Kirill Kaprizov at age 35 has his sixth 60-goal season in the last 7 years, which is absolutely diabolical. But here's the playoff tree. There's a lot of things to look forward to, but we're going to take a look at a couple of favorites here. Just see are they actually the favorites? Let me know in the comments, you know what I'm saying? But the Detroit Red Wings, when you have McDavid, you have a chance. And they are very deep down the wings. They have a great blue line, and they obviously have two great goalies. So we're halfway through the playoffs. The Red Wings are still in, taking on Carolina. It is Vancouver and Dallas in the other side. Let's check them out here. So if we go to the Detroit Red Wings or Carolina Hurricanes, you know what I'm saying? Bradley Nadeau is leading the Hurricanes in scoring. The Dallas Stars, Jason Robertson, Mika Rantanen, Wyatt Johnston, best line in hockey nowadays. It is undisputed. Lucas Raymond's outscoring Connor McDavid. Lecker Mackey has 20 points, and the Vancouver Canucks have made the finals on the back of Lecker Mackey, and the Carolina Hurricanes are in on the other side. Maybe the least watched Stanley Cup Finals of all time, but let's check these rosters out. Okay, the Vancouver Canucks, Yuri Kulich, Dylan Strome, Lecker Mackey, Aho. They just got these two centers in free agency. They drafted AJ Chung. That is a sick name. They don't have a goalie, but they have a sick team. And oh my goodness, Carolina, please do not win a championship. That is not going to go well for the PR of the NHL. They did sign Nick Suzuki, so they have Carter Hart, and they have a guy who is rumored to do something started with a C. So, hopefully they don't win, and the Vancouver Canucks thankfully win. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Nick Suzuki, though. Great guy. Just, probably made a terrible decision. Anyways, we don't have to get into that. But the league moves on. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins retires. He has the most points of this retirement class. A couple of Jets legends, Line and Morrissey retire. Aiden Hill. That's a big retirement as well. The Vancouver Canucks have won the Stanley Cup, obviously. and it's Vancouver versus Carolina. If we take a look, is it going to be a third Hart Trophy for Dallas? Yes, it is. This time, Jason Robertson and Zeev Boyum is going to get the Norris. That's very interesting. Lekermacki wins the Conn Smythe. Philip Gustafson wins the Vezina, and Matthews wins the Selke. I mean, here we are at the draft. Here are the top 5 picks. Maxime Julien goes to Columbus. Gabriel Huxley, Andre Bancroft, 3 QMJHL guys. A Russian going to Montreal. And then Jaden Wallace headed to the Rangers. I don't know where that is. The National League. Is that Switzerland? Maybe Swiss? But, I mean, we are in free agency here. Macklin Celebrini is a free agent, 96 overall. And, I mean, this kid's an absolute stud. Whichever team gets him is going to be the luckiest team in the league. Beckett Seneke is also a free agent. Leon Draisaitl as well at 37 years old. And then there's a couple of sick RFAs as well. Zach Benson, Thomas Harley. The league is just stacked with talent. Kyle Connor's a free agent. Mackenzie Weegar's still a 91 overall. I mean, you look at the talent difference. Jake Ottinger as well, sneakily could break the win record. Jake Ottinger, absolute stud. The talent difference from even like 15 years ago in this game, like 20 years ago, 2013 to 2033, it is insane. Oh my goodness. Macklin Celebrini has signed with the Winnipeg Jets. Oh my goodness, this is the greatest day of my life in a video game. Oh my goodness, Denton Mateychuk has signed as well. That one makes sense because he's actually from Winnipeg. But yo, we just landed 2 of the biggest free agents on the market. Who says players don't want to play in Winnipeg? Macklin Celebrini, a 96 overall, has signed with the Winnipeg Jets, and then I woke up out of my dream. You know what I'm saying? But Trevor Zegras is an 89 overall. First, I have to point that out. That is insane. Macklin Celebrini is a 96. He's going to be playing on that top line. Denton Mateychuk's going to replace Josh Morrissey. You know, they don't have Hellebuck anymore. Obviously, he retired. But this is still a nasty Jets team. Next, we're going to take a look here at the New York Rangers. They got Kyle Connor. They got Leon Draisaitl. They got Gabe Perreault. Gabe Perreault is going to be a free agent in a couple of years, so maybe they won't be able to sign him, but for a year, this is one of the greatest top 5s in hockey. You have Harley, Fox, Draisaitl, Connor, Gabe Perreault. That's sick. And then we skip to the trade deadline here. Nothing major happened, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a big trade deadline. I take all that back. Bryce Sheldon has been traded to the Utah Hockey Club. Matt Savoy got traded. There's Matt Savoy, 86 overall on the third line. But Bryce Sheldon, if I remember correctly, had franchise potential. And yes, he does. 89 overall. It's dropped to medium elite. Makes sense. But this kid's an absolute stud. You know, not a point producer, but he's a two-way forward with Cooley and Slavkovsky. That line could do a lot of damage. I don't know how they're going to sign him, but for a playoff run, that's sick. Okay, did the Utah Hockey Club make the playoffs? No, they did not. That is actually embarrassing. They traded all that to miss the playoffs. Vegas is last in the West. You love to see it. In the East, unfortunately, Florida make the playoffs. But, I mean, the Buffalo Sabres still can't make it, and the Montreal Canadiens suck. So, this goes to show you that even in the NHL Sims, nothing is guaranteed. The Montreal Canadiens have all this talent. Will they pan out? Who knows? That's why you got to take each day for granted. You know what I'm saying? That was an absolute bar. But Cale Makar, that rhymed. Cale Makar, 106 points in 81 games. That is absolutely diabolical. For all skaters, Connor Bedard is now on top of the league. It took him a while, but in the year 2034, 11 years after he started, he has finally taken the crown as the best player in the NHL. And Austin Matthews passes 1,000 goals, and that is the NHL record. Austin Matthews has broken Alex Ovechkin's record, and Leon Draisaitl has surpassed Wayne Gretzky. So there are now 3 players ahead of Wayne Gretzky in the NHL's all-time leaderboard. But shout out to Austin Matthews, that's pretty sick. But we have the playoffs here, and the favorites are Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks. And here's your entire bracket. That is very interesting. So let's take a look at the Blackhawks here. You know, who knows if they're contenders? You have the best player in the world at this point. You have the future of the NHL, Connor Bedard. You have Otto Stenberg. You signed Cole Caulfield. You have Pettersson, Batherson, Michael Misa, Korchinski, Levshinov. This team is good. This team is very good. I can see them going on a deep run. They're still in the playoffs 2 rounds later. And Seattle Kraken are waiting on the other side, the back-to-back champions. You know, not last year, but they won. They won in 2 years ago and 3 years ago. And then it's the Islanders and Columbus on the other side. It is a Chicago Blackhawks versus New York Islanders final. 2 of the most storied franchises in NHL history. You know, one has Michael Misa. One, I don't know who they got in the game, but they're getting Matthew Schaefer in real life. And Connor Bedard is putting on a generational playoff run right now. 22 points in 19 games. This kid's an absolute stud. But we already looked at the Blackhawks. Let's take a look at the New York Islanders. They have Nightingale, who was drafted 2nd overall. Stan Moss, who was drafted 2nd overall the year before him. Zach Charbonneau, who's a real prospect in real life, I'm pretty sure. Max Penkin, who was guaranteed a real prospect in real life. Philip Brober on the blue line. And then they have Jeremy Swayman in net. So this is going to be close. But the Chicago Blackhawks are coming out on top. Connor Bedard, in 11 years later, gets his cup. And it makes sense because we're in the year 2025 and Connor McDavid still doesn't have a cup. And maybe he can get one, 10 years into his career. So people, don't jump the gun on Connor Bedard. He's going to do just fine. But Braden Point retires, one of the most underrated players in NHL history. This dude was just a point machine. Jack Eichel retires after going to Seattle after winning a cup with Vegas and taking home 2 more, plus a Conn Smythe. This kid's an absolute stud, but it is a stacked retiring class. Andrei Vasilevsky, one of the greatest goalies of all time, also retires, so that's interesting. And the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Washington Capitals have the first 2 picks, again proving that the NHL is rigged. Quint goes number 1, a sniper, looks like Alex Ovechkin, you know what I'm saying? He's not a pure sniper, but he is a sniper. And then Nikulin, the playmaker, could be Russian. Yes, he is Russian. So the Russian playmaker goes to Washington, and the Canadian sniper goes to Pittsburgh. That's just funny. You can't write that. And Kachuk goes to St. Louis. That's interesting. Connor Bedard has obviously won the Stanley Cup, but let's check him out. The New York Islanders win the Eastern Conference champion, but Austin Matthews is going to take home the Hart. So not a perfect season for Connor Bedard. He doesn't even get the Conn Smythe. LeVar Stenberg gets that, but it doesn't matter. He'll take a Stanley Cup all day, every day. Oh man, we're in free agency and Gabe Perreault wants $19.8 million over 6 years. No one's paying him that. I'm telling you that right now. He had 104 points last year, but no one's paying him that. Alexis Joseph, 92 overall franchise. That's sick. Maddox Schultz, the number 1 pick, is here. Jonah Neuenschneider. Bryce Sheldon did not re-sign with Utah, so he's a free agent. Gabe Perreault. Oh my goodness, did you guys see that? Whoa. This guy got $21 million, and Evan Bouchard has signed with the Sharks, I think that said. Yo, what is going on in this free agency? Bryce Sheldon teams up with the number 1 pick in the draft. Or, I mean, not the number 1 pick, the number 4 pick in the draft, Kachuk. I mean, he's not playing anyways, but still. But Gabe Perreault, look at this contract. Wait, did I see that right, or am I tripping? $21.8 million over 6 years. So we do some quick maths here. That's 42 times 3. Or you could do 63 times 2, which is 126 plus the 0.8. You know what I'm saying? So 0.8 times 6 is like a solid 1.6 times 3 or 2.4 times 2. So that's 4.8. So if you do the math right there, that was 126 plus 4.8. So Gabe Perreault is making $130.8 million. I don't know what I just did. I just went down a whole rabbit hole of just doing math on camera. But we are at the trade deadline here, and Ivan Demidov is available to be traded for. I've seen Quinn Hughes a couple times, but other than that, I've never seen a player of Ivan Demidov's caliber on the trade block, which is absolutely diabolical. and he hasn't done anything in this sim, so it's either how I created him is ass. Lane Hudson, he's an EA created player, hasn't done anything. I don't know what's wrong with Montreal, but they just suck at this rebuild. They screwed it up so hard. They had all the pieces and they failed. Just like in real life, nothing is guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? We are here at the end of the season. The Detroit Red Wings have won the entire league, and this is the final season, so we're going to take a look at all the standings here. Here's how all the teams finish out. Florida missed the playoffs. Let's go. And, I mean, if we look at some teams who are still stuck at the bottom, Montreal, Vancouver won a cup, so that's fair. You know, the Winnipeg Jets made a final, but the Utah Hockey Club are the worst team in 2035, and the Buffalo Sabres still suck all these years later. We have a new best goalie in the league, Winkler. Tristan Alcock, a 7th round pick, is the rookie of the year. That's how you know we're cooked for the future. This is a golden age of hockey. Zeev Boyum puts up 93 points from the blue line. And then Leon Draisaitl is going to win a Art Ross trophy at 39 years old. This dude's an absolute stud. He is going to go down as a top 10 player of all time, guaranteed. And this guy's pretty close. Austin Matthews maybe will go down as a top 5 player. Shout out Braden Yeager, by the way. That was crazy. 58 goals. But anyways, we have the playoffs here. And, I mean, the favorites are Connor McDavid and the Detroit Red Wings, so we're going to have to just see, you know, time's going to tell if that's true. See if this team looks the same. Hopefully they still have McDavid. I didn't see him leave in free agency. And Connor McDavid is still there. He's an 89 overall, looking for a cup at 36 years old, still putting up 90 points a year. This kid's an absolute generational talent, has lived up to everything, but he is out of the playoffs by the Toronto Maple Leafs. How fitting would it be if the Toronto Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup in 2035 to end the video? That would be absolutely sick. Let's check out some of these team stats here heading into the semifinals. Matt Boldy, Marco Rossi, Zeev Boyum, Kaprizov, they've kept the same core and added Laxonen. They are here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They've drafted really well. They've drafted so many guys, and they draft and develop. Same with the Sharks. They've just drafted so many guys. And then the Toronto Maple Leafs, I mean, they have Matthews and Nyes, but the rest of the core is, I guess, more balanced. But it doesn't matter. It's going to be Minnesota and Pittsburgh in the final simulation, the final of the finals. Let's check it out. So the Minnesota Wild, who do we got? The Minnesota Wild have the same team they have in real life. They have Laxonen. They still have Kaprizov. They have Matthew Wood. They drafted Laxonen second. Cole Sillinger is an 89. Jacob Pelletier is an 88. They still have Boyum and Faber. They have a new goalie in Winkler, who's basically become what Jesper Wallstedt should have been. And then for the Pittsburgh Penguins, we've checked this team out before, but they have Pugh and Fitzhenry, and they are very top-heavy with Patharana, a 94 overall, which is crazy. But the final Stanley Cup champions are the Minnesota Wild. What a recap. Okay, the Minnesota Wild have won the last cup, so we have Seattle Kraken, Vancouver Canucks, Chicago Blackhawks, Minnesota Wild. 5 Western Conference teams. Here are your awards. Feel free to pause at any point while I'm scrolling through these. Marco Rossi wins the final Conn Smythe, though, so that's pretty sick. Okay, so let's check out the best players in the league, and while I do that, I want to talk about some of the GOATs of this simulation for 10 years. Jack Eichel. I mean, this dude won 2 Conn Smythe, or he won a Conn Smythe, he won 3 Stanley Cup, he won 2 Stanley Cups with Seattle. I think Seattle was honestly the best organization. Like, they won, I think, 3 cups in this sim. Jake Onger was probably the best goalie in this sim by far. But look at this kid, Patharana. I mean, 28 years old, rivaling Landon DuPont. There's no one even close to those guys. The next Makar and Hughes, I guess. Lane Hudson, you know, he's kind of close, but I mean, on defense, there was no one who really took it. I mean, Zeev Boyum is a standout candidate at right wing. Matvei Michkov, he hasn't been the greatest. I haven't noticed him too much. I think Kaprizov's probably been the best right winger. Lekker Mackey, maybe. He won a Conn Smythe. On left wing, trying to think. It's been so long since we recorded the first part, so I forget who did anything in the first part of the sim. I know McDavid had a great sim. I know Matthews obviously broke the goal record. Draisaitl was amazing. Connor Bedard did pretty well. I mean, Macklin Celebrini did alright, you know what I'm saying? Maybe if we go 5 more years, maybe it's his league. Manuel Banak, I haven't really noticed him, maybe because he plays on the Ducks. Jack Hughes, we haven't talked about since he signed with the Flames. And then, I mean, our boy right there, what's his name, Pie-Harvey? He hasn't done shit, so... You know, nothing is guaranteed in the NHL. Even if you find 5 franchise centermen, there's a lot of franchise players in the NHL. The talent in this league is crazy. Okay, let's take a look lastly at some of the team stats here. Who is leading in some of these stats? I see Sebastian Aho, see Connor Bedard for goals for the Blackhawks. I see Nathan McKinnon for points for the Avalanche. See Zach Werenski. I see Jason Robertson. I mean, Leon Draisaitl. Did I just see that Leon Draisaitl has taken the reign for most goals? I mean, the Minnesota Wild, this is their golden generation. Nico Hischier has taken over every single Devils record. That honestly could happen if he's the only one who stays. But I don't see that happening because I see, you know, the guys staying there. Sidney Crosby. So it's undebated. It's like undebatable that Jágr and Lemieux era, Crosby and Malkin era was better, I guess. But the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Toronto Maple Leafs, obviously all these guys, Utah, Winnipeg, like Vegas, all these teams, Washington, they're all going to have current players. So, that is it for this simulation. If you guys want to see us go to 2050, just let us know in the comments, and we will try and make that happen, going all the way to 2050. Here are some of the NHL